Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to Adam's Fishing, and a happy 2022 to you all. A belated Happy New Year from me, because, well, quite frankly, I haven't been fishing for ages. I've got a whole load of excuses, but I won't bore you to death with those. It's a Tuesday afternoon. It's just coming up to 3:30 p.m. Looks like I've got the lake to myself, and I'm going to be doing a spot of fishing down at the smaller lake on my club ticket. I do intend to get back onto the quiet lake and continue my mirror mission, but today is about trying something out a bit new, and that is a helicopter rig, which is something which I need to be using on the quiet lake, but I've never used before, never caught a fish on, and I'm hoping that today I can put that right and actually bank a fish or two using a helicopter rig and just boost my confidence in it a little bit. Just wait for a van to go past. I'm here for the whole night. I've packed enough stuff to last me for about a week, but I am only here for the night. So I'm going to load up the barrow and head on down there. Well, that is a truly insane amount of stuff for what is going to be a short overnighter. I think I've packed everything and the kitchen sink. So hopefully I won't have forgotten anything, and hopefully it won't kill me wheeling this down to the lake. All right, guys, well, there's the swim behind me. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's the same swim that I fished last time I uploaded a video. Hopefully it'll bring me the same good fortune, because I had a couple of nice fish out of here last time. Hopefully the helicopter rig can produce the same. We shall see. I'm not going to hang around because it's probably going to get dark sooner than I think. So I'm going to get cracking, get the stuff out of the bags, get the rods out, and then I'll catch up with you when things are ready. All right, guys, well, the pod and the rods are ready, but as promised, I'm going to show you something a little bit different today. Different for me anyway. In fact, a type of lead setup that I've never used for carp fishing before, but probably should have ages ago. Time will tell, I suppose. Let's see how this session goes. I'm going to grab a rod and show you what I mean. All right, so this time I'm fishing a helicopter setup as my lead arrangement. I'm just going to take this little paper clip off of here, which I just use for transport. Let's just stick that in my pocket so I don't lose it, and show you what I've got going on here. So tied to my main line is one of these little quick link things, and butted up, pushed onto, if you like that, sort of semi-fixed, is a buffer sleeve, which I don't know if you can see on the camera here. It's got a really slim tapered attachment to the line here, and that's going to come into play later on. A little bit further up the line, what? Okay, so I've just had to swap rods because I've just realised that one of them isn't set up properly. It's missing a pretty vital component. But I'll talk you through this one because this one seems okay. Tied to the main line, I've got one of these quick link jobbies, which is what I'm going to be attaching my lead to. Pulled down onto that, sort of semi-fixed, is this sleeve. It's a buffer sleeve, which has got, I don't know if you can see, but a flexible rubber, very thin tapered sort of entry onto my main line there, which is going to come into play a bit later on. Just a little bit further down here, and the distance at the moment is not necessarily how I'm going to set it, but just to show you, is a bead, and that bead is plugged onto a little stopper which is onto my main line as well, and with very little pressure it will pop off of there, as you can see. Okay, I'll put that back on so that I can show you this working in just a sec. It's really quite difficult to get on, but nonetheless pops off with minimal pressure, which is important from a fish safety point of view, as you'll see. Running between those two things is a flexi quick change clip, which is going to be what I attach my rig to. So if you imagine my rig coming off of there, and the idea is, hence the name helicopter, that it can spin around the lead. If I'm lucky enough to get a bite, the idea is that the fish, if you imagine this is the rig and the fish, pulls until it hits this bead, and can you see that the large ring of the swivel has pulled over that flexible rubber part, effectively protecting my main line during the fight as the fish pulls against the whole rig, obviously. If the fish goes the other way, pulls the other way, it will eventually meet this bead that you can see here, and with a little bit of pressure be able to pop that bead off and therefore be free running, or be able to get rid of the main line altogether should I snap off or something like that. So that's my helicopter rig. I googled it, and that's how I found it. Got the components online, none of it expensive, no more expensive than my normal lead clip setup anyway, and I'm just going to try it out, my naked helicopter setup. Now on my other rod I've realised that I've neglected to put this on, so there's nothing running between the two beads for me to attach my my hook link to. So while it's still light, I'm going to sort that out and then work out where I'm going to be casting these rods. Probably back to the same spot where I was fishing last time, but it has been nearly a couple of months now, so I will have a little feel around just to check that it's still fishable and that it's going to be relatively clear. That's one of the points here, actually. It is relatively clear here. There's not a lot of silt. On the quiet lake, there's loads of silt, like a couple of feet of it, we think. So the idea here is that the lead can come, land and sink into that silt as far as it needs to, leaving my hook link on top of the silt. And what I would need to do is just alter the length between the bead at the bottom and the bead at the top, so that enough of my main line could sink into that thick silt. Here the silt isn't bad at all, and what I can probably do, in fact I will do now, is just slide this top bead down, so there's only, I don't know, what have we got there? Probably about 8 inches between the two beads. Part of the reason for that 8 inches is not because I think it's going to sink that far into the silt. I think it's a relatively thin coating of silt out there, but it's to test, I suppose, that the mechanics of the rig will actually work. So if I'm catching a fish on that, I can hopefully be more confident that I could catch a fish on this rig at the Quiet Lake. That's the theory anyway. Loads of me waffling on, guys. Hope that is of interest to some of you. Some of you are really interested in the type of rigs I'm using and stuff, and this is completely new to me, so it is all an experiment. It might not work at all, and I might go home fishless, but I really hope not. So anyway, I'm going to clip a lead on to here, cast out, work out where I'm going to be fishing, and get everything ready to rock and roll. Now, I know what you're going to say. Is that guy still using marker elastic in 2022 after all the badgering from you guys about getting some distance sticks? Well, for Christmas, I got my first set of distance sticks. Now, I don't really need them on this lake. I mean, it's really short distance casting, and you know, it's not entirely necessary, I don't think, to be using distance sticks here. It was easy enough for me to walk a line out to get the same distance between the two. You'll notice I did put marker elastic on because, of course, I haven't tried these before. I don't really know what I'm doing. Well, I mean, I get the principle. Anyway, what I'm going to do is stake these out at the back of the swim here. And for rod number 2, which I'm going to be fishing to pretty much the same spot, nice sort of deeper area of the lake out in the middle of me there. It's sort of like a bowl, and it's very clear as far as I can tell from feeling with the lead and pulling back and so forth. So I think that's where I'm going to fish both baits, both hook baits. Probably have them, I don't know, 3 to 6 feet apart from each other, and just sort of spread a little bit of bait between the two, and hopefully that'll bring me a bite. But for rod number 2, rather than walking the line out to get it to the same distance as rod number 1, I'm going to wrap up, as they say, rod number 1, and then wrap rod number 2 to the same number of wraps. It's probably only about 2 wraps or something like that. No, it's further than that. Anyway, let's get these set up and have my first experience using distance sticks. All right then, well, the rods are both ready to fish at the distance that I want them to be. They'll both be going out. It's roughly halfway across the lake between this side and the far side. And it feels like it's going to be a decent spot to put some bait down. I'm not going to put a lot of bait out. It has been cold, although I must say it is warmer today. We've had a real sort of a spike in the temperature, just very beginning of February now. So I'm going to put out a few pouchfuls of boilies where I'm going to be fishing those baits, and then clip on a couple of rigs and finally get cast out, and then I can start getting base camp ready for the night ahead. As expected, I am losing the light, but it's light enough for me to cast out. This is what I'm going to be using. It's my good old-fashioned snowman rig. I know probably pop-ups are the more popular choice for a helicopter rig, I think, but I wanted to fish with at least something on the hook end that I know works on this lake. So really my test is of the helicopter lead setup rather than of what's on the end here. So that's the rig. It's about 8 inches of end trap, semi-stiff. I've got an anti-tangle sleeve at this end. I've got my little snowman bait set up here. Look back at the previous video if you want to see how I do these. And what I've done is just threaded a little mesh bag over the hook there to stop it from snagging on anything on the way down through the water. So the helicopter rig, here it is. I'm going to attach, if I can see what I'm doing, the rig. And now hopefully you can see why it's called a helicopter rig. It's running on there, and oh, it can spin because of the way the lead is set up. Not that I think the spinning is a particularly important part of the particularly important aspect of the rig, but there it is. Right, I'm going to cast both rods out and then finally get the bivvy set up and get ready for hopefully a relaxing evening, interrupted occasionally by a nice big carp. Well guys, it got pretty dark pretty quickly. It's only just 5:30 and it's pretty much full dark out there already. So welcome to base camp. This is where I'm going to be set up for this evening. It is the Cyprinus base one-man bivvy for those who are interested in that sort of thing. Bit of a faff to put up, but it will keep me warm and dry, and that is the aim of the game, isn't it, when you're on a night session? not feeling particularly confident at all, guys, if I'm honest with you. The helicopter rig is new to me. If I had my normal lead clip systems on out there, I'd be feeling confident of a bite right now. As it is, I'm not. I'm just not feeling it. I just don't trust that it's going to work. I'll tell you what's bugging me in particular. It's that top bead that's bothering me. I feel like it's not fixed firm enough that it will register a bite, what would be a drop back, I suppose. I feel like it pops off so easily. I could have a fish running up and down my main line without getting any sort of registration. That's what's happening in my mind anyway. Probably not the case, just me worrying and stressing about trying something new. But I suppose you have to go through that if you're gonna get any sort of confidence in something. You have to try it in the first place. So I'm trying it, so let's hope that it pays off and that I get a fish. Failing all of that, I have packed the floater gear. I know it's not really floater season, not floater weather necessarily, but in the morning, if all else fails, I think I'll have a go and see if I can just sneak a fish out, because it has been a couple of months nearly, and I am desperate to get a bend in the rod. Peaceful, the odd sounds of birds calling, but apart from that, very peaceful. Really cool to be back on the bank. I know I always say it, but it is really cool to be back on the bank. Right, I'm going to save my battery, stop filming for a while. Hopefully, next time you catch up with me, I'll either be cooking some dinner or showing you a nice carp, hopefully. Well, guys, it's now 6:30. I haven't had a single bleep, and I haven't heard a single fish out there. I know there's plenty of fish in this lake. I've just got a sense that they're all a bit quiet and dormant at the moment, maybe. We've had a really cold snap, and today is the first warmer day that we've had. But maybe they just haven't quite woken up yet. I'm not sure. Of course, what's also going through my brain is maybe the fish are there, and maybe they're just not getting hooked because of those stupid helicopter setups. This trying new things lark is a real mess on the old mind. Well, I'm going to have to persevere with it, because otherwise I'll never know, will I? I'll say this, come tomorrow morning, if I haven't caught a fish on one of those helicopter rigs, it might be some time before I try it out again. I do love my old lead clips. Anyway, it's started to cool off now. Surprisingly mild for this time of year, as I say, but it is starting to cool off now. So I've put on my second fishing related Christmas present for this year, for 2021 Christmas, which is a Corda, what do they call it? A Corda, I'll tell you in just a sec. Aha, it is a Corda Core fleece hoodie, and it is, I must say, lovely and warm, despite being actually quite thin. So I think it's made from that really super thermal material that keeps you cozy, but it's not necessarily that bulky. So yeah, nice new addition to my fishing wardrobe. I've had the old Avid fleece, well, not really a fleece, just a hoodie, for years and years and years, and you will have seen it loads of times. It's the one with the camo arms and sort of the plain front. It's washed out and faded to the point that it's out, and shrunk to the point that it's no longer really usable. Well, I say shrunk, maybe it's because I've grown. I definitely am putting on weight year on year, but hey, that's part of getting older, I guess. But yeah, so this is the replacement, and it's lovely and warm. I really like it already. Really wish the fish would give me some indication that they're out there. Better still, a screaming run. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, I'm gonna have a drink, kick back, just relax for a couple of hours. It's been what, nearly 2 months since I last got out on the bank. Ridiculous amount of time between sessions, really. Although to be fair, it has been cold over the last couple of months, so my chances of catching would have been, reasonably slim anyway. But you know me, I like to get out in all weathers, really. The winters never really put me off in the past, but yeah, just life, really, just work and my wife's work and childcare and a bit of illness at home as well. Have all sort of transpired to stop me getting out on the bank over the last couple of months, but I'm here now. I'm giving it a go. You've got to be in it to win it, and I just hope it pays off this time. But yeah, a much needed sort of just getting away from it all, to be honest. So I'm going to, as I say, have a drink, kick back, watch a little bit of Netflix, and just chillax for however long, until something happens. That will either be a fish comes along and I catch one, that'd be amazing, or I get really hungry and I decide I have to cook something. Still out there. Literally no sounds. Anyway, enough of me rabbiting on and breaking the silence. Time to chill. Alright guys, 7 o'clock, and I finally caught one on the helicopter rig. Confidence is improving every second. Lovely little fish, not a big one, probably only 5 or 6 pounds, maybe a little bit more, but nailed in the bottom lip, I'm happy to report. So a real awesome confidence booster. And there's the other side of her. Absolute magic. Let's hope that I get another opportunity and I'm able to catch an even bigger one. First carp ever fishing a helicopter rig. Absolute magic. Let's slip this one back. Alright guys, sorry about the video quality in this low light. The front facing camera on my phone is not that great, so gets a little bit fuzzy in this low light in the bivvy here. It's been probably half an hour since I recast that rod, and nothing else has happened at the moment, but that really was a confidence booster in the older helicopter rig. So I know that it can work. The fish was well hooked, as I said, and the top bead had detached, and during the fight or during the take, I'm not sure which, but in any case I got decent bite registration. It was kind of an up, all the way up, and then a drop back, and then back up again, and that's when I got to the rod and picked it up. So yeah, it registered well anyway, and yeah, hooked and landed a fish, so I'm pretty happy. The only slight disappointment is that it wasn't a bigger one. It's only a small fish, but hey, this time of year, you know, February, early February, a carp is a carp, isn't it? So dead chuffed to have caught one, no matter what, really. And it's still relatively early. I'm here all night, and there's every chance for another fish. So I'm just gonna let things stay as they are for now, and not do anything else with them at the moment. However, something I do need to do is feed myself. I'm getting hungry. I had planned on soup this evening, but it's just not going to cut it. I've got I had a bacon sandwich planned for tomorrow morning for breakfast, but I've thrown the plan out the window, and I'm going to have the bacon sandwich now. So down here is my little stove. Just that's a little NGT stove, that one, that I've had for years and years, and it's still going strong, which is great. So I'm gonna warm up my pan. Which actually is one of the Ridge Monkey toasty makers. And I've got here a nice bit of streaky bacon. I'm gonna cook that up and have a nice bacon sarnie, and I've even bought some brown sauce in my bag to make it really luxurious. Just seems a bit more appetizing than soup. I'll get one more in there, I reckon. Save a little bit of bacon for tomorrow morning. Ooh. Put that in there. Just close the lid on that and let it cook for a while. Alright guys, well, I've had to stop my bacon sarnie from cooking in order to land this one. It was on the other rod. Once again the helicopter rig, once again a lovely hook hold, and a cracking fish, a bit bigger than the last one too. I reckon this fish is 8 or 9 pounds, maybe 9 and a bit. I haven't weighed it, but let me show you the other side. A real chunky, pristine mirror. Brilliant to have caught a common and a mirror on this session. Fantastic. I'm absolutely made up with that one. Really makes making the effort to come out this evening worthwhile. Superb. I'm going to slip this one back, carry on cooking my bacon sarnie. Absolute magic. Brilliant to catch another one. Great to see both fish swim away strongly, and I'm gonna finish cooking my bacon sandwich now. I haven't even recast that rod. I figured let's get this cooked and eaten, and then I can redo the rods properly and settle back in for the rest of the evening. And it's only, well, it's now 8:15, so still relatively early, and every chance of more fish. The helicopter rig working. Anyway, let's carry on with this bacon sarnie. I did remember to turn the flame off when I went to play the fish. Thank goodness. Just keep that cooking. Another few minutes, I think, and here I've got my bread part of my sandwich ready to rock, and oh, brown sauce. Has to be brown sauce for a bacon sandwich for me. How about you guys? I'm not a ketchup man. All about the brown sauce. Love this stuff. There you go, that's ready for some bacon to go on top. I'll finish this and then I'll get those rods recast. So glad I came out tonight. And there's bigger fish in here too. last time I had that, I think it was a 12.5 pounder. It's a decent fish for this lake, but I have it on good authority that there's a big common in here which goes over 18 pounds. So every time I come down, I'm always thinking there's a chance of snagging that one. That'd be an awesome one for the photo album. Another little one there, guys. Probably only 4 or 5 pounds, but a pristine little common carp nonetheless. Brilliant to be catching them. I'm going to get that rod recast, get back in the bivvy. It's just gone 9 o'clock, and that's fish number 3 to the helicopter rig. Absolutely brilliant. Slip this one straight back. Alright then folks, it's just gone 10 o'clock. I'm feeling pretty tired, to be honest, so I've zipped down the bivvy door, and I'm actually, for the first time in a long time, going to spark up the old Nash bivvy heater, which I don't think they make anymore, but basically powered by tea lights. This little metal dome goes over the top of this in a sec. I'll show you, and you'd be surprised the warmth that a few tea lights can give off. It really does raise the temperature inside the bivvy. There's the dome. It sits on top, and then after a little while you really have to use the handle if you're gonna move it, because the metal gets really hot. But it does give off a nice little bit of warmth, so I'm going to leave that down by the bed chair, and I'm going to put my feet up and try and catch some Z's, I guess. On the one hand, I could do with a decent sleep, but on the other hand, I'd really like to catch a bigger fish. So let's hope one of those alarms screams off and it's a nice big carp for me. That'd be great. But that said, I'm a happy man. I'm happy to have caught the 3 that I've caught. Nothing massive, but 3 fish caught on a new method, I suppose, new lead setup anyway, with that helicopter setup. And yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest. So yeah, anything else is just a bonus. Well guys, it's now 11 o'clock and the left hand rod has rattled off again, resulting in this, probably the biggest fish of the session, a mirror carp of, I would say, around 10 pounds. I haven't got the scales out to weigh her, but I'm going to give myself 10 pounds for that one. Really solid fish, packed with muscle and in really lovely condition. Caught once again, of course, using that helicopter setup. So my confidence is definitely much higher in that setup than it was before. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll be way more confident to take this tactic to the quiet lake next time. What a lovely chunky fish. Yeah, certainly feels every bit of 10 pounds. Oh, wonderful. I'm going to slip this fella back, get back into the sleeping bag. Absolutely brilliant. Well then guys, it's now 1:30 in the morning and this little mirror carp has just rattled off on my right hand rod this time and got me leaping from the bivvy. I've actually had a couple more fish, really scrappy little commons that I just unhooked in the net and let go. and I figured because I'm about to pack it in for the night, I'd show you this one. This little fella's going to go back into the lake. Just show the other side of him there. It's going to go back into the lake, and I think I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to reel in, pop the rods up for tonight, and get them back out again in the morning after I've had a bit of kip. Brilliant to see that helicopter rig working. This fish again nailed in the bottom lip, so I'm actually really quite happy with it now. Let's slip this one back, get a few hours sleep. Brilliant to be catching them though. I really am ready to turn in now. I'm absolutely shattered. It's 1:45 and I really do need to get some proper shut-eye. I never sleep properly, if I'm honest, when the rods are fishing. I'm always super alert and on edge. I've usually got my head torch on and my boots on, ready to rock at a moment's notice, and you can never really sleep properly when you've got that sort of mindset, I suppose. So I'm going to take the opportunity to have no rods in the water for a few hours and actually have some kip. So both the rods are reeled in and they're on the rod straps outside the bivvy here, and the alarms are turned off, and I know they're not going to be waking me up for the next few hours as I get some kip. I'm guessing it gets light around 6 a.m, 6:30, something like that. So if I could sleep until then, that would be fab. I've caught, I think, 6 carp on this session. A few of them have been quite small, a few of them have been a bit better. Nothing big. I think, as I said last time I was here, I caught one that was 12.5, pushing 13 pounds, I think. And I've not caught anything in that sort of league, and I certainly haven't caught the fabled 18-pound common that's swimming around out there. But what I have done is proved that helicopter setup to be effective, which I really wasn't expecting. I just didn't have a lot of faith in it. So to have it work for me here has really boosted my confidence to take that tactic onto the quiet lake for my for the continuation of my mirror mission. If I was on somewhere like the quiet lake tonight, where bites are very few and far between, I wouldn't dream of bringing in the rods and hanging them up and going to sleep without any rods in the water. No way. But here the fishing's quite prolific. I've already caught a few, and it just seems sensible to get some sleep. Another thing that I would have to do if I was going to recast is tie some more rigs, because as I've caught each fish, all bar one, the hook point has turned over on the rig, and it would need a fresh rig. And my eyes are too blurry and I'm too tired to be tying rigs now. So I'll tie a few more in the morning, and just before I recast. So anyway, I'm rambling again. That's it from me for tonight, guys. I'll see you bright and early. Cheers. Well, good morning, guys, and it's an absolutely spectacular sunrise this morning. You can't quite see it on this camera, but I'll try and show you in just a sec. It got very cold in the small hours, so sleep was a little bit difficult, but I did get a couple of hours, maybe a few hours top whack. But yeah, that won't do me. I'm going to need some more sleep later on for sure. For now though, first thing I've done upon waking up, setting the tripod up to catch that time lapse of the sun coming up, was tied up a few more rigs. The pod is down there ready to receive the rods, so I think what I'm going to do without further ado is cast them back out to where they were last night before they were reeled in, and then get the kettle on because I am in dire need of a cup of coffee, that's for sure. Let me just see if I can show you this sunrise. Sorry, just one sec. There you go, you can see it now. Really cool pinks and oranges coming up over those clouds there. So yeah, pretty cool. So lovely morning, pretty clear skies, and I've got a couple of rods to cast out, so let's get cracking. Well, me standing by the lake edge and casting those rods out has drawn the ducks in like a magnet. They know that there are some free offerings to follow, but I'm not going to catapult anything out just yet because they're just going to get eaten by the ducks, and they'll probably end up picking up one of my rigs as well into the bargain. So I'll leave them out there as they are at the moment, effectively fishing singles. Although I suppose as I had a bit of bait down there yesterday evening, maybe there's still a little bit of sort of attraction left in the area, or a little bit of memory from the fish. You know, I got something to eat there last night, so maybe they'll revisit. I don't know, I hope so anyway. I hope one of these rods rattles off soonish. I say soonish because we've got problems at home, as it always seems to be the case when I'm on a overnight fishing session. I get the call in the morning that there's some kind of issue. This time it's the dog. He's not very well, so the logistics of getting him to the vets and getting the kids to and from school and all of that kind of stuff probably means that I can't hang out here for too long. I reckon there's not really any point me leaving now because I'm just going to hit traffic. So if I give it another hour and a half, then I've probably got to pack it all up and get cracking, which is a shame. I hope that's enough time for at least one more fish. It'd be really cool to catch one to show you in the hours of daylight. Wouldn't that be amazing? Anyway, for now, it's time to get the kettle on. I'm absolutely gasping for a cup of coffee. So got my little NGT kettle, and I use a 5-litre water carrier, which is still pretty much full because I've hardly used anything so far. There's the stove. Let's crank that up and try and get that boiling reasonably quickly so that I can get that much needed cuppa. Lovely morning, really lovely morning. Awesome to be out here. Just need a fish now, the icing on the cake. Well, I'd normally be working at this time today, but I took the day off, and I must say the view from my office here is much better. Well, coffee is served. No milk, unfortunately, I forgot it. I packed like everything but forgot milk. Always forget something. But actually, I don't mind coffee black, to be fair. While the kettle was boiling, the ducks had a massive barney and then flew off down to, there's another lake just down the hill there, flew off down to the other lake. So I grabbed that opportunity, jumped up and just catapulted a pouch of boilies over each spot, over each rig, if you like. So I know there's a little bit of free bait out there now to hopefully lure in those carp. Well, I imagine I'm feeling a little bit lethargic this morning as it got so cold in the night, but as they wake up, hopefully they'll find that bait and then find my hooks. And it would be really nice to catch one before I have to go. I haven't caught a fish in daylight for quite a while. So because this video is going to be about the trialing of the helicopter rig for me, I was thinking of calling the video "Get to the chopper" like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator, because I thought that would be quite a fun play on words, but my mate Tom said people aren't going to get that, but I think I'll give it a go. I'm going to call this one "Get to the Chopper" and see if it affects the amount of views I get. I might have to put the words carp fishing in there just to give people a hint if they're new to the channel. That coffee's pretty good for instant, actually. Smashing morning. I wish I had another whole day here, to be honest. But let's see what happens over the next hour or so. I'm feeling reasonably confident, which is a stark contrast to how I felt yesterday evening when I put the rods out. So, you know, it goes to show what coming to a more prolific water like this one can do for your confidence if you're testing something out new or that you haven't tried before. I mean, I now know that those rigs, you know, those helicopter setups register a bite okay, and I know that the hook holds were good. So yeah, I've no complaints, to be honest. Wouldn't necessarily use the helicopter on this lake as my go-to, because it's not really needed and the lead clip works just fine. But actually, if I'm chopping between this lake and the quiet lake, and I know I'm going to be using helicopter rigs on there, then I might as well just leave the helicopter rigs on. I know they work here too. So yeah, a really successful trip, really successful, and really glad that I found the time to get out here and have a night's fishing. Feels like it's been way too long, but this is just the medicine that the doctor ordered. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I always start to feel like genuinely feel a bit depressed if I haven't been fishing for a while. And yeah, I was getting there. So yeah, coming out here has really lifted my spirits. No word of a lie. That sky is absolutely fabulous. The sun's just peeking up over the tree line there. So that's going to look pretty cool soon. So I might see if I can get a little photograph of that in a minute. Anyway, I can see that the light is sort of going up and down, the light level going up and down in this little video clip as I'm recording it, and it's because I've forgotten to set the auto exposure again for this little clip. Hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. Right, coffee, and then I better start tidying things up, I suppose. It's now 10 to 9. The pressure is on for me to get home. You can see behind me the great pack up, or the first great pack up of 2022 is well underway. I definitely brought too much stuff. It's ridiculous, really. I had a single bleep on my right hand rod about 15 minutes ago and nothing else. I will try to hang it out for another half an hour before I bring those rods in, and you never know, I might be lucky enough to catch one between now and then. If I don't, I'm going to take this opportunity to say goodbye, and thanks so much for joining me on this session with the helicopter setup. It's been really awesome to get out here. Really great to get my first session of 2022 in. I anticipate my next session will be down the quiet lake, trying to catch one of those elusive mirror carp. or to be honest, anything at all that swims in there. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for subscribing and liking the videos. I really appreciate it, guys. I still enjoy making them, so I'm going to carry on for 2022, and hopefully I'll catch up with you guys again really soon. All the best.